Chapter 57-67. Call. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath and kept calm and said, "Senior, a god-level sword blank, you should be able to refine it." He asked for a lot. The upper limit of the heavenly rank is not enough for him. If it is said that he can't even surpass the seven tribulations realm, then it is better to die now. For him, the seven tribulations realm could only barely keep himself. The threat of extinction is not that simple. He originally thought that the seven tribulations realm could be used. But from the beginning to the present, after knowing the origin of extinction, he felt that what the other party wanted might not be so simple. Strength is naturally even more difficult. If extinction is just a half-step seven tribulations realm powerhouse in Maruor time and space. Even if he was still the lord of the universe, he wouldn't worry about it. With his strength, he doesn't need to be in the seven tribulations realm, and the master of the six tribulations realm universe can easily settle the extinction. But the origin of the other party is too great. From the stars. That is a place that everyone yearns for, but can't get in. It's not easy to get out, and it's impossible to get in. He was in Guya time and space, so far he has not found a record of the starry sky. Perhaps he is not strong enough now, seeing information about the starry sky. Or, the powerhouse of the 9 great spacetimes cannot enter the starry sky. The starry sky is still a little far away to him. Right now, it is still a robbery. After hearing his words, Lianxing raised his brows slightly, and his expression was a little surprised, but he was not too surprised. The sword blanks of the gods can be encountered and cannot be found. It is not related to the old man's casting method, but is related to the master of the sword blank. In short, it is very complicated. Jian Wushuang listened to the cloud and mist, wanted to ask, but was interrupted by the other party. You should defeat the puppet first. If you can defeat it, it will be increased in sequence. In the second theory, there are 2 puppets with 500,000 supernatural powers. In the third round, there are 4. If you can reach the 5th round, come again. Talking about the sword blank of the gods. After refining the star, he scattered the huge head. The secret room on the ground floor. The star-refining deity sits slantingly on a chair, with the corners of his eyes slightly narrowed. A crystal ball is floating in front of him, and the picture above is Jian Wushuang. This kid is really ambitious, god-level sword blank, really dare to think. Lianxing shook his head. In his thoughts, I recalled the things about the gods. The complexity of refining is no less than that of creating a complete universe. The most important thing is that the price is too high. Too many treasures are needed. In his opinion, Jian Wushuang was an emperor and couldn't afford it at all. I can't let him produce materials by himself. To contribute, we must also produce materials. He wasn't Jian Wushuang's father, so he didn't make sense to do so. If Jian Wushuang can make it to the 5th round, he will consider it. Otherwise, even if he was optimistic, he would no longer help Jian Wushuang so much. In the endless years, there are too many juniors he is optimistic about. Jian Wushuang can rank in the top 3 at best. If it were among the emperors, Jian Wushuang might be the one he saw the most. But in the Lord of the Universe, it's different. At the beginning, he was optimistic about the Lord of the Universe in the 5 tribulations realm. The talent can be said to be the best in the entire Guu time and space. After 1 epoch of cultivation, he breaks through and becomes the Lord of the Universe. In just 10 epochs, he became the master of the 5 tribulations realm universe. But later, the 6th calamity did not cross over. The first 5 calamities went too smoothly. In addition, the origin universe is extremely powerful, and its divine power is sufficient, and it can resist the catastrophe every time. By the time of the 5th calamity, the Tianjiao still felt able to resist, but was slapped severely by the heavenly Tao. Sometimes it's not good to go too far. Misfortune arises spontaneously. The robbery that grows in the bottom of my heart is the most terrifying. His eyes turned to the crystal ball, waiting for Jian Wushuang to erupt. Dark and dense indoor. Jian Wushuang held the sword in one hand. The invisible sword, cast by the power of the stars, is no less than the Jueyun sword. The 5th round. Jian Wushuang didn't have much confidence in his heart. The first round is 1. Doubled every round. The Emperor has 5 rounds and 16 puppets. Each 500,000 supernatural powers. It is equivalent to 16 5 Tribulation Realm powerhouses. Although he has a lot of cards now. But it's just an Emperor. Under normal circumstances, the Emperor with 400,000 supernatural powers may have been the only one throughout the ages. No way, the greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. Fight. The power of the beast can make him 500,000 times the divine power. Now he hasn't researched super eternal changes. If it can combine the power of the starry sky with the divine power. That is, the origin and the divine body merge with each other, and this test is nothing. I knew it, he went to retreat for a while. Now that he hasn't improved the eternal changes, even if he is promoted to the peak state, he will be comparable to a practitioner with 550,000 times the power of divine power. Can pass the second round, but there may not be much chance later. In the first round of normality, the second round requires eternal changes to reach the peak state. In the third round, he probably had to get all his cards straight away. He still has a thought of the universe. There is also a starry sky catalogue. These two are okay against practitioners, but they are of little use against puppets. One thought of the universe is okay, it can increase his own origin, but he can't suppress it, because it is not a practitioner, but a puppet. When calculating the combat power in the bottom of my heart, the puppet had already started to move. Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth and couldn't control that much. If it's a big deal, use Jiangjiu again. 600,000 supernatural power to reach the limit. He didn't believe it. Every time, he broke through under the greatest pressure. This time, I hope he can break through. Jian Wushuang directly removed the invisible sword. We greeted him with bare hands. The simple collision of divine power shook the secret room with muffled noises. That puppet is different from the puppet here. It should be refined separately by refining stars. The appearance is also very strange. The whole body is smooth, without a trace of gaps, and the whole body is more symmetrical than the human race. The white and purple skin is extremely smooth. Jian Wushuang punched the puppet in the face, almost unsteady. His punch did not weaken the puppet's power, but the other's punch hit his abdomen, causing his body to quickly collapse. After all, he is still a practitioner. No, it hurts. Fortunately, everything is the same as he thought. The supernatural power of 500,000 is just right. He just wanted to test the puppet now. Next, it's time to exert strength. Jian Wushuang smiled at the puppet, palm deep, and firmly said, "Senior, I have to use 500,000 supernatural powers now." What? Jian Wushuang clenched his fists with both hands, the arrogance on instantly turned red, and his divine power increased by tens of thousands. 430,000. 460,000. 490,000. Seeing this scene, Lian Xing had a look of surprise in his eyes. At the same time, he also saw the beast gods on Jian Wushuang's body. See through at a glance. A complete beast soldier. A pair of scarlet wings, wrapped in a black inner armor. To the left of the inner armor is a red left arm. Chapter 5768. The scarlet claw of the candle dragon is even more conspicuous. Finally, a heart is still beating. The heart of the beast god. Lianxing stared at it. But he didn't know that he had fallen into a huge eyeball. That is the eye of the beast at the second core. Innate treasure of the universe. Lianxing was extremely surprised. He didn't expect Jian Wushuang to have an innate treasure of the universe. And it seemed that Jian Wushuang hadn't fully grasped this innate treasure of the universe. After watching carefully, he discovered that this innate treasure of the universe is the treasure of the 7 Tribulations realm. Really want to fully activate all the powers, Jian Wushuang is at least the master of the universe in the 6 Tribulations realm. Otherwise, you can't control it to the extreme. Interesting. Lianxing found it more and more fun. Originally thought Jian Wushuang had used some kind of forbidden technique to increase his supernatural power. I didn't expect it to be because of the treasure of the innate universe. This is real personal strength. Ordinary people may think that they have taken advantage of the innate treasure of the universe. In the eyes of a master of casting gods like the star refiner, the innate treasure of the universe, and also the innate treasure of the seven tribulation realm, even if it is used in the tribulation realm, it can't exert its internal power. Jian Wushuang is an emperor who can spur the treasure of the innate universe. This is Jian Wushuang's true combat power. It seems that the first 2 rounds are stable. Lian Xing nodded and said to himself. According to his plan, if Jian Wushuang can pass the first 2 rounds, he will refine a sword blank for Jian Wushuang at his own expense. If he can reach the 3rd round, he will refine the heavenly top-grade sword blank for Jian Wushuang. In the 4th round, Jian Wushuang will refine the heavenly perfect sword blank. 5th round. He hasn't thought about it yet. If it's over, Jian Wushuang will continue to insist on God's rank again and again. He will consider. But the material, he will not release it. Or, let Jian Wushuang pay a certain price. In short, the divine rank is too much involved, not so easy. Are generally the powerhouses of the 8 tribulations realm. They are looking for him to refine the slabs of the gods, and then those powerhouses of the 8 tribulations realm will become the treasures of the universe in the 8 tribulations realm. The universe of some 8 tribulations realm powerhouses has died out and became sand tribulation. If they want to be bred, they have to seek the cosmos masters of those 8 tribulations realm. The price is even greater. Generally, the Lord of the universe came to him for refining. After all, the scattered calamities in the 8 tribulations realm rarely fight, and it is useless to ask for the treasures of the universe. But in any case, the supreme treasure of the gods is also corresponding to the superpowers of the 8 tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang, an emperor, is looking for him to refine it. Lianxing played with the ball in his hand and continued to watch. On the side of Jian Wushuang, his body was slightly arched, his fists were clenched, and his forehead was violent. S power reached its peak. 500,000 times the supernatural power. What? Jian Wushuang raised his head and roared. His strength was completely stabilized at 500,000. The red arrogance enveloped his body, and his eyes turned red. The puppet had no consciousness. No matter Jian Wushuang's power exploded, it rushed again. This time Jian Wushuang stood steadily on the spot, with only in the depths. When the puppet rushed, the fingertips of the burst out with a terrifying force, which was formed by the condensing of divine power. This terrifying air column blasted directly on the puppet, blasted it out of Jian Wushuang's field of vision, and disappeared into the darkness. Huh! Jian Wushuang suddenly turned his head. There is no breath on the puppet. Jian Wushuang can only observe it with the naked eye. But he still felt the jinfeng brought by that divine power. The moment he turned his head, he saw the puppet and charged instantly. The body turned into a streamer, and he wanted to hit Jian Wushuang with his round head. Jian Wushuang still didn't mean to avoid it, and directly blocked the powerful impact with his hands deep inside. Holding the puppet's head with both hands, a knee kick directly hit the puppet's abdomen, and he could see with the naked eye a large bag bulging behind the puppet. It was caused by his knee. Boom! Without giving the puppet any time to adjust, Jian Wushuang made another powerful elbow, and then directly grabbed the puppet's arm and threw it in the sky, opened his mouth and a terror force condensed from his abdomen, and then spewed out, hitting the puppet. At the moment the power spurted out, Jian Wushuang rose into the air, surpassing the space extremely fast, already touching time. His speed surpassed his own burst of power. When the puppet was just hit, he had already reached the puppet's side. Jian Wushuang's mouth raised, and he jumped directly behind the puppet, locking the puppet from behind. His own body has turned into a black hole. That is a cosmic black hole. The black aura continuously dispersed, enveloping the puppet, and then began to swallow it. After just a series of attacks, the puppet's divine power has declined somewhat. This time swallowed, there is not much hindrance then. The bound puppet couldn't move at all. The divine power is constantly weakening. Quickly dropped a full 50,000 times. Looked at all the refining stars and shook his head. There is no hope anymore. Has lost 50,000 supernatural powers. There are only 450,000 puppets left. And Jian Wushuang still has these 500,000 supernatural powers. Don't look at it, only 50,000 supernatural powers are missing, but in terms of combat power, it's a huge difference. 500,000 supernatural powers are the threshold of the 5 tribulations realm, but they are the insurmountable tianjia of the 4 tribulations realm. The gap is almost infinite. Jian Wushuang felt that it was almost enough, and let go of the puppet with his hands loose. The puppet, who had just gained freedom, didn't care about the reduction of his divine power, and turned around to punch Jian Wushuang in the face. Bump! Hit Jian Wushuang's face with a punch, making a metal crash. Jian Wushuang hugged his hands, just like that with his face, and hardly received the opponent's punch. This punch, to him, is just like a gust of wind, without any feeling. If the opponent's 500,000 supernatural powers were at his peak, he might be beaten back. But now there are only 450,000 divine powers left, which can't threaten him at all. Can't even harm him. He turned his neck, raised his chin, and aimed at the puppet's face with one hand in the depths. A burst of energy instantly exploded and directly shook the puppet into the darkness. This blow is enough to solve the opponent. As expected, after he repelled the puppet, 2 puppets appeared in the center of the secret room. Looks exactly the same, and so is his supernatural power. Uses the supernatural power of refining stars. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to relax anymore this time. There are too many places he needs to pay attention to when fighting. The 2 puppets at this time did not rush to take action, but kept observing Jian Wushuang. Then the 2 puppets vacated at an extremely fast speed, and the 2 puppets one after the other, superimposed and killed towards Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang brows, and he can feel that the appearance of the 2 puppets has changed a lot. Chapter 5769. In the first round, a puppet doesn't need to cooperate with anything at all, it just comes up to fight. But when 2 puppets appeared, they were actually using tactics. Is a cooperative tactic between the 2. This time, Jian Wushuang was a little panicked. Not to mention the embarrassment, but it was caught in a hard fight. The 2 puppets separated instantly before they got close. Originally, from Jian Wushuang's perspective, only a puppet rushed towards him. 2 puppets, one in front and one behind, matched seamlessly. If it is a real life and death fight, the cooperation of the 2 puppets is stronger than the practitioner. When the 2 puppets appeared in front of him, they separated in an instant, and wrapped around one by one. He can only deal with it with his hands. The difficulty of dealing with 2 puppets is more than twice as difficult. Boom! Jian Wushuang fully condenses the breath, and directly retreats to deal with it. Beast God Realm! Jian Wushuang shouted in a low voice. A red breath swept over. Turned the situation around in an instant. Although the range of the power of the beast is small, it corresponds exactly to the space of this place. At the same time, his supernatural power has also been increased. It's just that the increase is not so obvious. But there is another advantage, that is, he has twice the power of the beast god, which is not so difficult. Although he was able to do a good job at first, but after it weakened, it became dispensable for him. There is no pressure. When shot, it became extremely sharp. Is not as bulky as before. Flash, shoot. Since the battle, the 2 puppets and Jian Wushuang have been facing each other in the form of a triangle. The distance between Jian Wushuang and the puppet is farther than the distance between the 2 puppets. It is impossible to defeat each one. His speed is only a bit faster than the puppet. If it is for one of the puppets, the other puppet can arrive instantly. Because the distance between him and the opponent is always farther than the distance between them. You have to think of a way to trap one. Jian Wushuang thought about the countermeasures in his heart. There is a perfect cooperation between the puppets, and Jian Wushuang also has his own tactics. He is not a fledgling boy. Fighting talent is not natural. Jian Wushuang's heart was just a thought, and he paid attention. With his hands, his body began to recede continuously. Was finally submerged in darkness. Both puppets were taken aback, and then steadily stepped forward. The speed is not very fast. They are also worried about Jian Wushuang's fraud. After Jian Wushuang entered the darkness, he did have his own tactics. His hands gather strength. This time it is not a supernatural power. Is the pure power of everything. This power comes entirely from the source. He can't feel the breath of the puppet, but the puppet can sense his position based on his origin. Jian Wushuang living in the dark, surrounded by two air masses condensed by the power of all things. One-handed pushes one first, and the air mass condensed by the power of all things rushes out of the darkness in an instant. The two puppets scattered and avoided. Is far away. The power of this blow is not small. Although the puppet has no self-awareness, it has an extremely superb fighting standard. After feeling that power, he dodges directly. It's now. Jian Wushuang's figure flickered, taking advantage of the moment when the two puppets were separated, he shot out instantly. Watching the battle, the Lianxing sneered, and said to himself, small bugs. Sure enough, the next moment, before Jian Wushuang was close to the cloned puppet, the two puppets grouped together again. The speed of this outbreak surpassed Jian Wushuang. It looks like it can still burn divine power. Jian Wushuang saw this scene, but was not surprised at all, but leaked out his gaze of victory. The two puppets just wanted to join forces to step forward and besiege Jian Wushuang, but found that Jian Wushuang's figure had dropped, and the two puppets rushed into the air. Jian Wushuang was not free this time. At the moment when his figure fell, a huge mass of power of all things rushed out of the darkness. Directly hit the two puppets. Might be 100 times stronger than the first air mass of all things. The divine power of the two puppets dropped suddenly. Jian Wushuang didn't plan to give the opponent too much time, and took advantage of the puppet's fall, and directly shot. Disperse and attack. Blasted out with a punch, and the condensed supernatural power exceeded 500,000. Fight alone, the puppet is not his opponent at all. Just took a breath and solved a puppet. When the other puppet reacted, he had already freed his hand. Following the same procedure, the last puppet was solved in the blink of an eye. All this does not exceed 3 breaths. Watching Lianxing, he swallowed. His eyes changed completely. Top combat ability. Combat power is invincible at the same level. The potential is endless. 3 in 1. At this moment, there is an illusion about refining stars. He felt that Jian Wushuang might have come into being. Is to pave the way for the next great era. The super powerhouse who opens up the era in the future. Originally, he only thought that Jian Wushuang might just be a wave of this era. Seeing now, he found that he's still underestimated. All beings are water. The big forces are those huge boats. Towering huge waves, it represents the 8 tribulations realm. In the huge waves, there are also these blossoming waves, which is the 7 tribulations realm. Now he feels that Jian Wushuang can become the master of the universe of the 7 tribulations realm. 8 tribulations realm, I dare not say anything. It takes some luck. No one dared to say this. At this time, he even forgot to start the 3rd round. Jian Wushuang in the secret room is not in a hurry, adjusting his breathing and waiting for the next opponent. The method just now can only be used once, and it will be useless if it is used again. And he still has a whole card. There is no need for a routine, use it repeatedly. This will lower one's own creativity, as well as one's own resilience. For Lianxing, this is a test of Jian Wushuang. For Jian Wushuang, this is not only a test, but also a practice. Rare sparring. Naturally, take it well. Supernatural introverted. Jian Wushuang's hands gather supernatural power. 4 figures appeared instantly. 5 powerful forces are intertwined. War made a comeback. Beast God Realm. Jian Wushuang broke out into the Beast God Realm again, and the surrounding aura was surrounded by red flames. One man fights 4 puppets. Is actually a bit simpler than he thought. The 2 puppets can also take care of each other. But the 4 puppets, with more manpower, are difficult to take care of. Jian Wushuang also discovered this when fighting these puppets. He stared at a puppet alone, trying to destroy one by one. The other 3 puppets will be blown out by him whenever they come forward. For a time, the battle against Jian Wushuang got better and better. But at this moment, the 3 puppets suddenly stopped moving. Jian Wushuang's speed also slowed down. For a time, I don't know what the other party means. The three puppets just glanced at Jian Wushuang, and then retreated directly into the darkness. Jian Wushuang's brows moved, and he looked down at the puppet that was shot down, and he had a bad premonition in his heart. Chapter 5770. As expected, a powerful force was pouring out, as he expected. Not good. That puppet wants to explode. It is no longer possible to get out at this time. Jian Wushuang can only choose hard resistance. The inner armor of the candle dragon runs wildly, and the candle dragon wings are wrapped around the body. A hot wave hits instantly, and then a terrifying power burst. 500,000 supernatural power blew up. That's not just for fun. The same level of divine power may even fall. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang has beast soldiers. Will not fall. The hard resistance to supernatural power exploded, and the life force on Jian Wushuang was constantly restoring himself. The puppet blew itself up, leaving an empty shell. Has lost any power. Did they take the initiative to explode, or were they manipulated? Jian Wushuang lowered his head in thought. He now began to wonder if it was a senior star refiner who was kidding him. Otherwise, why would the puppet blew himself up? Pity. He has the power of life. Even if his power is weakened, he can instantly recover. Is really useless to him. Does not mean making stars. The puppet explodes itself, which is actually a tactic. Just happened to face Jian Wushuang, and didn't carry out this tactic to the end. Anyone who has no vitality, encounters this trick, will be planted. It was also because Jian Wushuang had the power of life, he didn't worry about this tactic at all, so he didn't have any defense. Thought that it would be possible to win with a single beating. Also, when fighting a practitioner, I rarely encounter self-destruction. Unless it is true despair. Is like a few cultivators of the same rank besieging a person, and there is no need to explode. That's why Jian Wushuang didn't have that much defense. This is also a point that Lianxing can see through. Now Jian Wushuang is standing intact, his strength hasn't weakened a bit. How did he fight it down? Lianxing's eyes rolled round, looking at Jian Wushuang like a monster. Then thought of the treasure of the innate universe. But even so, Jian Wushuang shouldn't be unscathed. Not only was he shocked. The other three puppets who walked out of the darkness were also taken aback. Jian Wushuang himself felt that just now, was it too high profile? But there is a top powerhouse of the 7 tribulations, staring at him. How can I give the other person some face? Can't be too easy. Otherwise, people will be suspicious. His trump card, the most important thing is the power of life. The power of all things is okay, he uses less now, even if it is discovered, there is nothing, and the power of all things is not difficult to master. The strong against the sky can be mastered. When you reach the tribulation realm, you don't need to rely on the power of all things. Compared with the original universe, it means to condense all things. Still needs the power of all things. The power of life is the greatest support, and no one can master it. As for the power of the starry sky, it is the strongest combat power, but it is also the power that is not afraid of being discovered. This power, in the eyes of outsiders, is no different from ordinary power. Only those who use it will understand how powerful it is. If that's the case, let's end it. Jian Wushuang thought. The second round should also be over. There is no need to drag it all the time. His power is undiminished, and sooner or later he will be suspected. Otherwise, it will end soon. Ever ancient change? Jian Wushuang yelled angrily. The arrogance on instantly turned blue. Together with the hair and the clothes on the body. Jian Wushuang shot instantly. Strength and speed have been greatly improved. The three puppets, even if they besieged him, won't take any advantage. Was pressed and beaten by him instead. In less than a stick of incense, the divine power of the three puppets was almost consumed. Boom. Jian Wushuang let out a foul breath, and the three puppets have fallen down. The third round is over. There is not much confidence on the star refining side. 5 rounds. Maybe Jian Wushuang can really get through it. In the fourth round, 8 puppets. Jian Wushuang, with a pinnacle posture, dealt with the 8 puppets, but there was some pressure. This pressure was quickly compressed after a thought. Although there is another whole card, the star catalogue is not very useful for these puppets. But the increase in the power of Kendo is still very large. This time, he once again condenses the invisible sword. One person fights the 8 immortals. Where the sword passes, the sword spirit rises to the sky. Cut, hack, prick. The perfect Kendo is displayed extremely smoothly. Jian Wushuang enjoys it. Unknowingly, he defeated a puppet. One puppet is missing, that is, 10% less combat power. These puppets are dead again. When blew himself up again with a number of injuries, he was cleverly avoided by Jian Wushuang. These puppets are not cultivators, and they want to use the same tricks. If someone is not staring, he doesn't even need to hide. Is just to hide the power of life, he can't be too high profile. Then designed to avoid. 8 puppets, all of them were buried at the tip of his sword. This battle. He used 80% of his combat power. If he doesn't use the eternal transformation, he can use 3 times the power of the beast god, and the divine power can be increased. With a complete outbreak, 5 to 50,000 is not a problem. Of course, this is not his limit. The most powerful treasure, he hasn't used it yet. The condensed generals on the chessboard. That is his biggest support now. Once the Jiang Jiao is used, his divine body is not bound by any. 5 times the power of the beast can be used. But he was worried about exposing the treasure of time and space. For a sword blank, he risked exposing the treasure of time and space. This business is not suitable. Throwing a watermelon to pick up a watermelon, he doesn't like to do it. 5th round. 16 puppets descended instantly. Lianxing was also looking forward to it at this time, staring at Jian Wushuang, wanting to see the true limit. He could feel that Jian Wushuang didn't really give his full strength. Vaguely, it seemed that Jian Wushuang's reservation was seen. Boy, let me see your strongest method. The war is about to start. 16 puppets surround Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang closed his eyes slightly. It seemed that the puppet was surrounding him, but in fact his sword aura had already surrounded the puppet. Shot instantly. The puppet directly attacked. Ukanshu. Jian Wushuang didn't panic at all. 16 puppets retreated at the same time. But behind them, there is all condensed sword energy. Has not quit for a long time. Sword chi backstab. Excalibur, cut the air in the front. One hit must hit. Boom. All the 16 puppets were shaken back. Pity. The power is scattered too much. Is not enough to hurt the puppet. Is just a simple retreat. The puppet adjusted his body and rushed again. This time, Jian Wushuang could only choose to deal with it head-on. Fortunately, there are candle dragon wings. Relying on speed, the wings have shuddered, and they can barely deal with these puppets. But if this continues, he has no chance at all. Drag and lose. He has infinite origin and supernatural power. Chapter 5771. Can never mark an era. Really want to be like this. I'm afraid that not only does Xingxing not refine sword blanks for him, but will instead train him. Must be resolved quickly. 16 puppets. Each 500,000 supernatural powers. Even if the top powerhouse of the 5 tribulations realm comes, it will have a headache. And the puppet is not like a practitioner. Practitioners can be crushed. But the puppet has no fear. On the contrary, under the command of refining the stars, he will definitely live forever. Jian Wushuang's eyes drifted away, his heart moved, and his figure instantly pulled away from the encirclement. Those puppets did not miss any chance. Watching Jian Wushuang want to escape, they surrounded them again. 16 puppets. An arm deep in one after another, then quickly extended, like 16 tentacles, rushing towards Jian Wushuang. Just stabilized his figure, Jian Wushuang, who wanted to change his offensive, was also taken aback by the sudden tentacles. Made him feel helpless. Can't be broken even if you hit it. Even if the divine sword cuts it, it can't be cut. The structure of the puppet is not hard, but soft. Overcome strength with softness. The fierceness of kendo was completely restrained. Damn it. Jian Wushuang saw that he couldn't break open, so he could only use his speed to deal with it. Can be like this, but it is in the arms of those puppets. Jie jie. Several puppets let out a stiff laugh. The sound made Jian Wushuang shudder. After jumping up and avoiding a few arms, Jian Wushuang discovered the strangeness. Unknowingly, he returned to the center of the secret room. And the tentacles come from all directions. After looked around, he also found that all the puppets had gone into the darkness and disappeared. Only saw these arms waste everywhere. Just when he had a bad premonition in his heart, the darkness around him was instantly dissipated and replaced by white condensed lights. Those arms still trouble Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang has no time to think. Can only prepare hard resistance, the next means. It seems that I still have to use the armor. Originally, he felt that after reaching the limit, he forced himself to explode again. It seems that the potential of the Emperor has been developed to the extreme. Is squeezed dry. There is no potential. If it weren't for the power of the Chen family, his divine power would be up to 200,000. If it is because of Jiang Jiao, even if he has a basic divine power of 400,000, he can at most display the power of the peak of the Four Tribulations realm. Now his peak is on the top of the general. Jian Wushuang took a long breath. Scaly armor suddenly appeared on his body. Began to wrap the armor around his body. Then embedded in the flesh. The appearance is indistinguishable. This is the inner armor of the general armor, protecting the divine body from collapse. It is precisely because this inner armor protects his divine body that he can use 5 times the power of the beast god. When inner armor appeared, the star refiners in the bottom layer did not find anything special. But the next outer armor made Liangxing's brow jump. Seems to have found something in it. Divide A into the inside and out. Was also discovered by Jian Wushuang recently. Neijia guards the divine body. Weijia guards the flesh. 2 into 1, guarding together with the source. Can weaken the attack. Is stronger than the beast warrior. Is his biggest hole card now. Is able to cooperate with the beasts. Let him use 5 times the power of the beast god. Of course, 5 times is a bit exaggerated. It was only in front of death that it reached that limit. It is enough to cast 4 times now. Doubled and increased by 50,000. 4 times is 200,000. Plus 400,000 basic supernatural power. He will have 600,000 supernatural powers. The power of the beast god. Jian Wushuang yelled, and a huge disc suddenly appeared under his feet. That is the totem of the beast god. As for the Guantian chessboard, he did not use it. If he appears, he is afraid that Lianxing will find out. Furthermore, the increase given to him by the Guantian chessboard is too small, and it is still very laborious. Only when he arrives at the Lord of the Universe will he be able to exert his power. Now it is enough to use the general armor. 4 times the power of the beast god, the general armor can fully bear it. Jian Wushuang's physical body grew strong and swelled instantly, and the muscles of his arms and chest were instantly exposed. What a powerful force that is! So that the divine body is fine, and the physical body is almost broken. Fortunately, the outer armor guards. Jian Wushuang's eyes were full of bloodshot eyes. The white condensed light all around burst out in an instant. Fortunately, he took precautions and played his hole cards first. Otherwise, if the white light hits, he will be seriously injured if he is not dead. The kind of serious injury that can't even be supplemented by the life force. Jian Wushuang supported both hands, and then his entire body burst out with dark red power, forming a protective shield, enclosing himself in it. Those white lights rushed in, and all blasted on the protective cover. This is what he learned from the young master of the blood-clothed door. But his supernatural power is almost unlimited. It's okay to fight hard for a long time. Which young master's supernatural power is still relying on others, and there are too many restrictions. Boom. Ignore Bai Guang's offense. This scene caused Lianxing in the lower level to frown. Jian Wushuang's strength was beyond his expectations. In the 5th round, I didn't expect Jian Wushuang to pass. Although Jian Wushuang is optimistic about Jian Wushuang, he will not be an emperor for Jian Wushuang to refine the sword blanks of the gods. Refining god-rank sword blanks, those are the masters of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm, and even the mighty ones in the 8 tribulations realm. Refining for an emperor, what's the matter? Even if you don't talk about the required materials. Is the same. It takes the host's essence and blood sword Wushuang to be an emperor, and he cannot bear it. The essence and blood needed can almost be drained of Jian Wushuang. This is nothing. Refining the sword blank of the gods requires a complete kendo. Where do I get this? He doesn't think Jian Wushuang's kendo can withstand it. Can't borrow it. Do not pass lightly. Everyone understands. Therefore, he didn't want Jian Wushuang to refine the sword blanks of the gods. The price is too high. It's better to wait until the 8 tribulations realm, than refining. Ku Jian Wu has very high hands and even higher eyes. 8 tribulations realm do not know when to wait. Now he needs to improve his combat power. Not to mention the threat of Qi Temple. Let's talk about the ancient wood holy meeting now. Wanliu Shenmu. Jian Wushuang, an emperor, faced these opportunities. Is too much effort. Super eternal change, he needs to explore. It is very likely that he will not be able to help him in the emperor. The realm of the emperor. Jian Wushuang's strongest hole card against practitioners is the star catalogue. So I need the most powerful sword blank. There is also a chance of a catastrophe in the Wanliu Shenmu. The chance to break through the tribulation realm and reach the Lord of the Universe is in the willows. Before entering Wanliu, he was still an emperor, so he had to spare no effort to increase his strength. If you don't fight now, it will be him when you die. 16 puppets besieged. Jian Wushuang is unmoved. The white light dissipated. Before the darkness fell, Jian Wushuang started to move. Chapter 57-72. On the surrounding walls, he saw the puppets took off an arm, and the arm under him had a huge circular opening. The white light burst out from it. Now is the time for him to hunt. Jian Wushuang instantly rushed to a puppet before the darkness fell. The scarlet arm and deep palm directly crushed the puppet's head. Although it can be regenerated, but regeneration also requires divine power. He only needs to exhaust the power of these puppets. Solve one in an instant. In the blink of an eye, Jian Wushuang defeated the 9 puppets. The remaining 7 puppets wanted to reinstall their arms, but Jian Wushuang did not give this opportunity. The 7 puppets, after fully recovering themselves, are still somewhat threatening. It's better to take advantage of their strength to drop and solve them completely. Without holding the sword with both hands, he directly condensed a ball of light that was about to burst. A handful of them was thrown at the remaining puppets. The scarlet ball of light was once again born in the palm of the hand, like a rainstorm pear blossom, madly throwing at the puppet. There was a terrifying crackling sound, and the shaking room was shaking. Jian Wushuang did not intend to stop. Has consumed half of his divine power before stopping. 600,000 divine power, half of it consumes 300,000. With 300,000 supernatural powers, it takes time for him to use the power of all things to replenish it. Jian Wushuang gasped. The scarlet blood cell broke the darkness, and Jian Wushuang saw the puppets. They were all inlaid on the wall, and their body lost the luster of supernatural power. Only then did he rest assured that Jiang A was included in the Guantian chessboard in the source. Then the increase in the power of the beast also disappeared. He dragged his tired body and landed on the ground. When using the general armor, he removed the eternal change. Although it is a bit troublesome, there is no way now. He didn't need to be so troublesome only when the ancient transformation was able to increase the source of the divine body. Once the super eternal change is created, then his divine power merged with the origin, and he couldn't imagine the increased divine power. The simple eternal change, only by increasing the origin, can increase his origin by 10 times its combat power. If it is created by super eternal changes. Cannot imagine. He got the guidance and treasures of Tonghe Sword Immortal, and he has been comprehending. The bottleneck is only after becoming the tribulation realm, or when it is the master of the universe, before it can perform super-eternal changes. It's out of play now. Fortunately, he has a general, his strength has been greatly improved, he has enough cards, and he has determination for the holy meeting. WN Liu, he will definitely open and enter. Where is the chance of him becoming the lord of the universe? Jian Wushuang calmed down for a while, and his divine power continued to recover. Glancing at the ruined puppets, the corners of his mouth moved. Ended. The voice was small, but the deity who made the star came personally. Then came a throne cast of white jade. The Lianxing sitting on the throne raised his hand and said tremblingly, "Is this the strength you hide?" Jian Wushuang nodded without asking. The outbreak just now is indeed his strongest combat power. Although it can still use 5 times the power of the beast god, the burden is too large, and the divine power that can be exerted is limited. 5 times the power of the beast is only suitable for him to use briefly in extreme situations. Not suitable for the battle just now. Therefore, the combat power just now is his peak combat power. Senior, let's talk about it now. Jian Wushuang stared at Lianxing. He was really afraid that the other party would regret it, and at the bottom of his heart he was thinking about whether to give him some more benefits. But after another thought, although there were many treasures on his body, there were some treasures that could not be taken out. There is no need to say the treasure of time and space. The beast soldiers are his powerful treasures today, so naturally it is impossible to give them away. The rest is Dongjun's bones, which are the bones of his own fusion divine power, and he can't take them out. He has the life force that Sanji most needs. But it is not suitable for people. Moreover, his vitality is at the level of emperors. It's okay to help ordinary robbery. Want to revive the strong above the 6 tribulations realm. He needs to condense the life force for countless years, so that it will be exposed. A strong person at the level of refining stars. Similar to the original Chishan body. It is estimated that the vitality of the time of an epoch, he doesn't have that time, and he doesn't have the guts. Even if some of the remaining treasures were taken out, the other party would not look down upon them. Some of the treasures of the Chen family can only be sold for hundreds of billions of cosmic crystals. Then the source stone Sacred Mountain can be taken out. Enough to make 7 tribulations realm heart move. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang took the source stone Shanshan out. Senior, this source stone Sacred Mountain was obtained by accident when I was trespassing outside the territory. Because of my weak strength, I have never dared to take it out. I heard that this source stone can maintain the origin of the universe. The younger generation is willing to offer it. I only ask for a level. Sword blank. After Jian Wushuang finished speaking, he handed the white mountain peak whose shape had shrunk by several times to Lianxing. Seeing this source stone Sacred Mountain, Star Refining was indeed a little surprised. But it's not surprising how precious the source stone Shanshan is. This is really nothing to him. To his surprise, Jian Wushuang, an emperor, actually had a source stone Sacred Mountain. But after thinking about it, Jian Wushuang's combat power is not weaker than an ordinary 5 tribulation realm powerhouse, and there is no surprise. On the contrary, Jian Wushuang's words gave Dola, and couldn't help but smile. Haha, Jian Wushuang, this source stone Sacred Mountain, if it is given to other 7 calamities, maybe the other party will be tempted, but for me, this is a mountain that is too ordinary to be ordinary. Just kidding, he is the #1 caste in Gumu continent, and he can rank in the top in the entire GUU time and space. I don't know how many people ask him to refine the treasure. The beginning is the master of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm. Those masters of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm do not know how much wealth they have. The treasures that took out of the casting gods like Star Refining are the topmost in the 7 tribulations realm. The source stone Shanshan, what is it? If you take 10 more, you won't be able to look forward to the Star Refining. All the treasures of the 8 tribulations realm universe on his body have a complete set. If you need treasures, you only need a word, and countless people rush to send it to him. Go and get a treasure from an emperor, and it won't be able to save face when it is spread out. Jian Wushuang blinked and understood. The treasure that I took out is still not good. But there is no other way. He has even more powerful treasures, enough to make star refining and even the 8 tribulations realm look enthusiastic. But the importance to him surpasses the original divine sword. Forget it, since I promised to help you refine the sword blank, I won't collect your treasures, but this god-rank sword blank is not as easy as you thought. Lianxing laughed bitterly, and then refined the god-rank sword blank. The matter of the control system, I said it. Chapter 57-73. Jian Wushuang listened to the cloud and mist, although he didn't understand. But he probably knew a little bit. That's star refining, and he was worried that he could not bear the backlash when he was assisting. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. This is nothing to him. Senior, I have decided, and I hope Senior will make it happen. Jian Wushuang clasped his fists in salute. Seeing this, Lianxing regretted telling Jian Wushuang about the god-rank sword blank. It seems to be ready to plunge to the end. After a short pause, Lianxing touched his beard, and finally relieved. Also, since you persist in this way, then I will break the rules and refining a peerless divine sword for you. After refining the star, he frowned and added another sentence. But you have to promise me one request. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was taken aback, and then firmly said, don't say one request, that is, 10 or 100, and the juniors are also willing. Haha, you don't need to be so full of words, my request is very strict. Lianxing laughed. Jian Wushuang was surprised. Could it be that seniors have any special hobbies? Go, you brat, what's in your mind? Old Lianxing blushed, and then hurriedly said, my request is actually very simple. If the divine sword is in your hands, you must not bury it. Its power. After hearing this request, Jian Wushuang relaxed and patted his chest to ensure that the prestige of the divine sword would be spread to the entire GUU time and space. Lianxing smiled slightly. Jian Wushuang, who didn't feel it, boasted. Famous GUU. The master of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm can do it. He recognized Jian Wushuang's potential and strength very much. The 7 tribulations realm may not be impossible. After pondering in my heart, I felt that it was actually quite good to refine a god-level sword blank for an emperor. Mainly because of Jian Wushuang. When Jian Wushuang in the future really became the master of the 7 tribulations realm universe, Megatron GUU time and space used his divine sword. It is also a good story. Sword blank, I still have to look at the treasure house, if the materials are enough. Just after agreeing, Star Refining started to have a headache. He has a lot of materials, but the materials of the sword blanks, he seems to have nothing left. If the materials are not enough, he has to go to the daytime to buy some. It's a little troublesome. During the day, 9 heavens and 10 earths, the strongest cosmic secret realm. It is also the oldest secret realm. Ancient moon god sect is located in the daytime. However, it does not interfere with the internal forces during the day. The 8-star sect that sits in the daytime still has the power to completely rule the daytime. Jian Wushuang didn't even know at this time, he didn't even need the materials, so he asked, Senior, what materials are used to refine the god-level sword blanks? I'll buy them in the city. Thanks Tusk, it seems that you still don't have a thorough understanding of the power of the god-ranked sword blanks. Which materials were bought by you, an emperor? Don't think about it. This time I will cover all the materials, but it will take some preparation time. When Lianxing heard Jian Wushuang's words, he felt a little funny. Jian Wushuang's heart warmed. He didn't expect to meet for the first time. Not only did he let the other party help him refine the god-rank sword blank for free, he didn't need to produce the materials. This kindness is great, he needs to write it down. In the future, if the achievement is high, it will be paid back. By the way, it just so happens that the royal capital will hold a special auction recently, so you will come with me to take a look. There are some special treasures that are very useful when you become the lord of the universe. Can't even hear. Jian Wushuang brazenly. Lianxing said indifferently, these treasures are usually those superpowers and bought to their own tianjiao. They are extremely precious. Any one of them may have several Hunyuan stones. Hunyuan stone? Not to mention those treasures, he hadn't even heard of this peculiar-sounding Hunyuan stone. Haha, that's right, You, an emperor, shouldn't have heard of the Hunyuan stone. Generally, those who have this kind of thing are the Lord of the universe. It is condensed in the universe, one era, the universe of the three tribulations realm. The Lord can only condense one. The master of the universe of the four tribulations can condense 10, and so on. The master of the universe of the 8 tribulations can condense 100,000. You now understand its value. Explained. 100,000. When he heard this number, Jian Wushuang was stunned. If you count it this way, it's really precious. The weakest master of the universe can condense one in the time of an epoch. The master of the universe of the 8 tribulations realm can condense 100,000 stars, but there are only a few of the masters of the universe of the 8 tribulations realm. In history, there are many. But in today's era, I am afraid there are not many. The origin stone Shinshan that you just took out is worth about 3,000 yuanyuan stones. Lianxing feared that he could not understand, so he took out a reference. Jian Wushuang had a better understanding this time. The Lord of the Universe in the 6 tribulations realm needs 3 epochs to condense 3,000 mixed stones. This value is indeed not small. No wonder, the 7 tribulations realm will be tempted. Of course, the 7 tribulations realm here is talking about scattered tribulation. If it is the master of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm, naturally, he doesn't care much about this source stone sacred mountain. The master of the universe of the 7 tribulations realm, in one era, 10,000 mixed yuan stones can be produced in the universe. Then what's the effect of this Hunyuan stone? Jian Wushuang had doubts again in his heart. Being able to be so precious is still the Lord of the universe, unique. There must be some use he didn't know. Then he asked. Lianxing also gave an explanation patiently. This Hunyuan stone, to be precise, was calculated based on the background of its own universe. For example, the master of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm, and the ordinary master of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm, can produce 10,000 mixed essence stones. That's just the threshold. And it's also about one's own background. No one will tell the truth. The powerful master of the universe of the 7 tribulations realm can even produce 30,000 or even 50,000 Hunyuan stones in one era. Only you know how much you produce, so you won't show it off naturally. It's about your own combat power. The strong will hide themselves. Just like Jian Wushuang, if it's not for asking for help, Ukanshu. He will not show his strength. The more cards you have, the safer you will be in the spiritual world. As for the role of Hunyuan stone, there are quite a few. First of all, this is produced by the universe and can also feed back to the universe. If one is injured, then the universe will also be damaged, then this Hunyuan stone is a great tonic. But doing so is actually a bit wasteful. Without a last resort, no one will use the Hunyuan stone to heal injuries. The bigger role is to deal with catastrophe. Every time you cross the catastrophe, you need to reserve a large amount of mixed stones. This is almost the consensus of all robberies. Hunyuan stone is about the background. The more you accumulate, the greater your grasp of crossing the catastrophe. Many of the masters of the universe who suppressed their own calamities did not survive the calamity, not only because of their lack of strength. Chapter 5774. The reason why is bigger is still because of the Hunyuan stone. With sufficient mixed stones, at the critical moment of crossing the calamity, use the mixed stones to stabilize the original universe, and you can successfully cross the calamity. Failed to cross the catastrophe, the universe is ruined. Is because the catastrophe is aimed at the universe condensed by practitioners. Is not the practitioner himself. The universe, which was supposed to be the supreme rule, was born. Practitioners, who can condense the universe, are doing things against the sky. That's why there is a catastrophe. Tribulation is aimed at the universe, and scattered tribulation cannot condense the power of life, and it is also targeted by the supreme rule. Is a small punishment. The emperor is after Dao Xin is completed. Is the best end point for supreme rule customization. But there are people who are against the sky to condense the universe. From where is the rule of treasure, steal power? So there was a robbery. This is the origin of the robbery. After Jian Wushuang understood, he began to consider his own universe. No wonder he feels faintly uneasy every time he uses a thought of the universe. And no matter what level of his strength, he will be burdened when he thinks about the universe. Turns out to be the reason for the supreme rule. A trip against the sky. Emperor is complete. Perhaps the Emperor, consummation is the best ending. If that were the case, he would be invincible now. It is a pity that there is a master of the universe. Above the universe. Jian Wushuang thought of those strong men who lived forever. They should be beyond the master of the universe. These people are more against the sky. Why does it still exist forever? Jian Wushuang has doubts. Lianxing seems to have seen something. In fact, he doesn't know. But he knows many strong people, and there are some cosmic masters in the 8 tribulations realm. What has been heard, some of the masters of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm do not know. According to what he knew, those eternal existences seemed to be drawn by a force. In the 9 great spaces, they were said to be invincible, but not invincible. Because they basically don't interfere with the 9 great spaces. The status is very high, but the influence is very weak. Didn't even make a move. Is extremely mysterious. Of course, this is also heard. Then talked about this matter. Jian Wushuang listened carefully. Also began to plan ahead. There are too many secrets in these 9 great time and space. The source of time and space is the starry sky. What is at the end? Maybe the master of the 8 tribulations realm universe, I don't know. Only those eternal beings know. Jian Wushuang sobered up his thoughts, no longer thinking about these. He is still just an emperor, and it doesn't matter if he knows it. I found the Hunyuan stone from Lianxing. Thought of the origin of the universe. His current universe background. There are 9,000 black holes. Is divided according to the time and space of the ancient moon. The background of the Lord of the 3 tribulations realm, but 1,000 black holes. When he became the Lord of the universe, he probably condensed at least 10,000 black holes. Is 10 times the master of the ordinary universe. How many condensed Hunyuan stones will there be? Perhaps, he will not be short of Hunyuan stone in the future. His path to the tribulation realm is even smoother. Followed by, there are more powerful Jie. Lianxing grasped the ball in his hand, and said, there are still a few days before the auction. You should prepare for it first. When the day comes, follow the message on the token I gave you. Where will you go and wait? That's it. Yes. After Jian Wushuang agreed, he didn't bother either. After bidding farewell, he turned and left. From the ground to the first level. Seeing him come out, the very outer disciple who refines the stars approached respectfully. Jian Wushuang is naturally polite. Then I thought of the casting who coaxed Li Ming'er. Said to an outside disciple, brother, do you know the young man wearing a purple robe? This. I really don't know, but if brother Jian has something to do, I can let him come over. Then he beckoned to a handyman to come over to call the young man who had deceived Li Ming'er. Jian Wushuang was a bit speechless. Also has a clear understanding of the upper and lower levels of these caste gods. The disciples of Lianxing are the most famous casters in Shigua and the entire Gumu continent. Very high status. The casters who came to observe, the handymen whose status is not so low. But out of here, he is a guest of various families. The identity of a master is so popular. Which young man in a purple robe heard the handyman telling him that a distinguished guest asked him something, so he squeezed his face and leaned over. When Jian Wushuang saw that person's face, he felt disgust in his heart. Even the little girl's universe crystal deceived. He wanted to throw this person into the furnace next to him. See if the opponent's face is thick, or the flame is strong. The villain Jiyu Shun, I have seen an adult. Jiyu Shun was extremely humble and cautious in front of Jian Wufang. Jian Wushuang leaked a smile, pretending to be interested, and said, Jiyu Shun, I ask you, what is your relationship with Li Ming'er? Li Ming'er. For a while, Jiyu Shun didn't know who it was. After another thought, he just gave him the universe crystal, and then he reacted. My lord, Li Ming'er has nothing to do with the villain, just an ordinary friend. Ji Yushun reacted quickly and said directly. Li Ming'er suddenly gave him a lot of universe crystals, and he was also a little curious about how the other party got them. Also worried that it was stolen. Hearing Jian Wushuang's question, he was afraid of contaminating the relationship, so he cleared it away. Jian Wushuang turned around his eyes and looked at a woman who was coming with Ji Yushun. He could see through the line of cause and effect on the two of them at a glance, and said calmly, "So, then there is nothing to say. I thought Ming'er. It's your Taoist companion, it turned out to be just an ordinary friend." This. Ji Yushun was in a daze for a moment. Quickly changed his words, "Senior, in fact, Miss Ming'er and I have known each other all the time. When we were weak, we all worked in the same house." Without waiting for the other party to finish speaking, Jian Wushuang turned and left. "It's just a villain, it's not worth paying too much attention to. Find a chance and kill it." After leaving the refinery to visit, there are still a few days before the auction. He didn't know where to go for a while. After walking around the city, he found a relatively secret restaurant and stayed nearby. Stay still, time goes by. Also specializes in the details of super-eternal changes. Although the emperor is hopeless, he still has to plan for the future. In the few days he felt, it was going to be outdated in a hurry. A piece of news came quietly from the Yu country. Is Wu Li. There is also Elder Mu Chen. One after another, they sent him a message. Seeing the content of the message, Jian Wushuang was a little surprised. The royal family of Yu gifted him and Jin Chen's residence, destroyed. I don't know what it was, suddenly destroyed. Many practitioners were even killed in the city. The murderer cannot be found. The powerhouse of the royal family is already exploring the ruins, but couldn't find any clues. Could it be Emperor Bobby? Jian Wushuang couldn't sit still. Chapter 57-75. He can think of the strong against him, and it is also Bobby. If the other party knows, he still has the deity, and he will definitely not let it go. But after another thought, if so, Bobby Di must control his clone. His clone is always beside Bobby Di. Who is it? Jian Wushuang frowned. Maybe not him. But Jin Chen is even more impossible. Besides, Jin Chen should still be in the daughter country now. Who is targeting him? Or for Jin Chen? Is it because of the royal family? Jian Wushuang was puzzled. After a hurried reply, the whole person also fell into a tight state. Jing, waiting for the investigation of the royal family powerhouse, was able to cover up his whereabouts, killing so many practitioners without knowing it, and ruining the mansion. Jian Wushuang suddenly widened his eyes. He thought of the beetle. That thing is alive. And it's in the mansion. Magic, is it? If that's the case, he will play big this time. I thought that bug was not easy. Can continue to evolve. And as long as there is power, it seems that there is no bottleneck, and it can continue to change. If this is the case, it makes sense. Most of the practitioners killed by had nothing to do with the royal family. Are all unimportant people. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang regretted a bit. He had already said that he would kill him if he knew it. At the same time, he also thought of the pink meatball under Luo Fengpo. When the sword blank is refined, he will go to Luo Fengpo again to destroy the pink meatball. Pink ball of flesh, very similar to that beetle. Is to absorb power, and then continue to grow stronger. Is probably by one person. Scourge. As for the beetle, I am afraid that they have all evolved into the tribulation realm now, and that is not what he is going to worry about. Fortunately, it is not against his existence. Ran away and ran away. Even if it becomes a robbery, it is not invincible. If there are too many people to kill, they will be targeted by the super strong and beheaded. There is no need for him to worry about it. But the pink meatball hasn't really grown up yet. Although trapped underground, but who knows if he will run out, it's better to destroy it. But he didn't know. That bug is terrible. There is no bottleneck. Infinite growth. Yu Guo. Miue Mountain Villa. Scarlet swept. The original prosperous villa once claimed to have thousands of emperors and immortals. There are even more powerhouses in the robbery realm. Is a paradise for casual repairs. But now, the scattered flesh, and the breath that has not disappeared. The owner of Shanzhuang was even placed on a wall. Looking along the wall, the corpses are everywhere. Click. The cracking sound of bones sounded. A pedestrian monster trampled on the broken bones on the ground at will. The tail behind it was raised, and there was a sharp bone spur at the end of the tail. Bone spurs were being inserted into a corpse. A force followed the tail into the monster's body. The monster opened his hands in excitement, his eyes shrank, and his power was sublimating. Its power is now comparable to the Four Tribulations realm. Absorbed a number of experts in the Three Tribulations realm here, allowing him to successfully reach the Four Tribulations realm. Although it is not human, but it has great wisdom that humans don't have. A pair of wise eyes whirled steadily. The revolving robber realm powerhouses are almost all casual cultivators. There is no background. Was killed and no one cares about it. Guru. After a strange noise made from the monster's mouth, he suddenly turned his head and looked towards the sky. Then the breath became extremely restrained, exactly the same as Jian Wushuang. Also quickly disappeared in Miue Villa in the blinking. When the monster disappeared, a crack appeared in the sky. A woman wearing a high crown and golden robe walked out of the crack. She, very noble, glamorous and peerless. Raising hands and feet is enough to make practitioners fearful. The female emperor of Yu Kingdom. The lord of the universe in the Five Tribulations realm. She came here, just glanced at the miserable condition below. Her expression was a little moved, not because she was pitying these casual practitioners, but worried. Since the daughter's residence was destroyed, within 3 days, the entire Yu country has lost 100 of them inexplicably. Emperor is countless. Among the 100 tribulation realms, half are the First Tribulation realm, followed by the Second Tribulation realm. This place is the Three Tribulations realm. At this speed, it won't take long for it to threaten the Four Tribulations realm. Some people are not worried. But as the Emperor of Vietnam, Empress Fengchen was worried. Only every time, when she felt the evil aura appeared, the aura disappeared without a trace as soon as she hurried over. Was able to escape her mind power range at this speed. Either the speed is the best in the world, and the strength is outstanding. If this is the case, why be afraid of her? The high probability is that there is a certain secret method that can hide oneself. This time, the Empress confirmed her own thoughts. Just arrived. Waved his hands, countless red long sleeves flew out from behind, bombarding Miue Villa below. Was instantly destroyed within hundreds of millions of miles. Searching again, but still nothing, Fengchen gave up. Raised his hand to tear the space and left the place. At the same time, in the crust of thousands of miles underground, the humanoid monster shrank into a ball. After feeling the terrifying breath of the Empress left, it opened its eyes again. Then left here at a very fast speed. Then go to find the next target. Although he has no bottleneck, he needs to avoid the strong when he is weak. In the first few days, he could be unscrupulous, but now that he has been targeted, he needs to be treated with care. Need to change a place. Yu country. It remembered. Waiting for the strength is enough, it wants to swallow the entire Yu country in its abdomen. Above GUU time and space, on a miniature planet. The time and space of this place is completely separated from the time and space of GUU. Is like an independent space-time. There is only such a planet. Who? This planet is only more than 10 miles in diameter, which is extremely small. The layout is also very simple. Above the planet, there is a strange house. Outside the house, it was full of grass and there were a few narrow paths. The sunshine poured invisibly. This place is extremely warm. On the grass, a monkey plays wantonly. And the cry came from a fat man with blue skin. He has blue skin all over, but he is wearing a black robe, and he has 2 tentacles on his forehead. The fat blue man who was sleeping asleep was unremarkable, and there was not much breath on his body. His identity is not simple. Very few people know him. Every time you take a nap, it is counted by the epoch. Very low-key. But at this time, there is a power that is calling him. Hair. The fat blue man touched his nose and woke up from his sleep. The force that pulled him made him unconsciously look at the GUU time and space below. The secret realm of Wu Hua. The source of power. Chapter 5776. Stone Country. Jian Wushuang, after dealing with the things from the Yu country, he didn't want to practice. Originally, he planned to go to the Kendo again and perfect the Starry Sky catalogue to show the way to the future. The thing about that monster, I didn't have a trace of interest. Fortunately, time flies quickly, just a few days, and it changes in a flash. On this day, before dawn, Jian Wushuang came to a relatively remote alley in the East City alone, waiting for the star refinement. According to the address on the token, this is the place. Is a bit mysterious. Is not like those auctions he used to see, with fanfare. This place is not only hidden, but also very quiet. A big person like Lianxing will come. And the treasures traded are all based on the mixed stone. The threshold is so high that one can imagine. The weakest is probably the Lord of the Universe. And he is not an ordinary master of the universe. It is estimated that the weakest is equivalent to Wu Li. In Yu country, those are the ancestors of the top 10 families. Can be here, but he is an inconspicuous little person. After all, an auction that can be seen in star refining. I am afraid that there are many masters of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm, as well as powerhouses from the 7 tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang is an emperor, not to mention. Can only honestly wait for the arrival of Lianxing. Waited not long. The bluestone ground in the alley suddenly leaked a hole, which shocked Jian Wushuang. I saw that after the bluestone slab disappeared, there was a stone step at the entrance of the dark cave. Just when Jian Wushuang was at a loss, a clear footstep came from below. Then Jian Wushuang saw an old lady with pale face and withered skin coming up from below. Inferring from the opponent's breath alone, he is at least a 4 tribulation realm powerhouse. Is not the Lord of the Universe. It's just a robbery. The strength is not strong, but the appearance is too scary. Jie, this distinguished guest, please follow me. The old woman saw Jian Wushuang with her hands in her sleeves. The corners of her mouth did not move, but she could make a sound. Jian Wushuang was taken aback for a moment, and then he wanted to report the name of Lianxing. But when I think about it, the entrance to such a mysterious auction is underground. I am afraid it is also to hide the identity. Did not speak either. Honestly followed the old woman into the underground. All the way down the bluestone steps. Left for a long time. The speed of the key too is not slow. Is not ordinary step by step. Is one step at a time. From top to bottom, Jian Wushuang at least stepped down 1,000,000 steps. This place is at least 10 feet away from the ground. Such a deep place. Jian Wushuang did not expect that someone built a palace here. When he entered, there were already many people sitting in the hall. When he entered the main hall, the bluestone steps of the gods disappeared. The whole hall is more like suspended in midair. Can't feel the fluctuation of the surrounding space. Is like this place, it's normal without the Stone King. Jian Wushuang didn't think about it, since he has been here for so long, he waited honestly. An old woman took him to a place that was considered to be the front of the throne, and then left. Told him before leaving that the auction would be held before dawn. This made Jian Wushuang a little confused. They were all underground, so they didn't know if it was dawn. When he first asked this question, he saw a crystal ball on the case in front of the throne. 90% on the top is black and 10% is white. Represents the time outside at this time. It's so magical. Jian Wushuang stroked it lightly. The material was special and he didn't feel how it was refined. Nianli looked around. A strong breath made him breathless. Half of the strong are the masters of the universe. The other half is Sanjia, the Lord of the Universe. Most of them are in the 5 tribulations realm. Is the top powerhouse in Vietnam. There are also several masters of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm. As for the diaspora realm, the weakest is the 5 tribulations realm. This threshold can be said to be very high. Is just these strong men, he doesn't know any of them. Is a little boring sitting down. Just when he wanted to close his eyes and waited for the auction to begin, a familiar breath came from a distance. Then many strong people in the hall began to speak. Brother Tonghe sword fairy, Li Changsheng. Jian Wushuang also followed his gaze. The person here is just the Tonghe sword fairy with whom he has an Li Changsheng. He didn't come alone, he took one with him. Is his granddaughter, Li Ming'er. Seeing the other person walking towards him, Jian Wushuang quickly got up and said respectfully, Tonghe Senior. Wushuang nephew is here too. Tong Merge is not too surprised, he thinks Jian Wushuang has this strength and background, see this kind of auction. Not to mention, Jian Wushuang's background is really not small. Although not as exaggerated as strength. But in the entire Gumu continent, that's the #1 person. The royal family's Chenglongquai son-in-law, and the guarantee of the daughter of the newly promoted Seven Tribulation Realm Universe Lord. Plus now, I got acquainted with the first caste master of the ancient wood continent to refine the stars. Know the strong, that is one of the best. The strong around, saw Tonghe Zhenxian actually chatting with a junior, and they all thought about it. Wushuang? Could it be that Jian Wushuang of the first emperor of Yu Kingdom? Someone frowned. A member of the Stone Royal family. Shijias matter, although not big. But the movement is not small. At the beginning, there were strong people in Shugua who were not convinced, and wanted to go to Yugua to find a place. Was finally stopped by a stone country's Seven Tribulations realm. But now that Jian Wushuang came to Shugua, I still feel a little uncomfortable. The Taoist couple who snatched Qianjiao from the Stone King clan is still so blatant. But this is an auction after all, they don't dare to go too far, they can only remember it in their hearts. The auctions here are in Shugua, and even the ancient wood continent, are all top-notch. There are a lot of powerhouses in the Seven Tribulation realm. Sometimes, even the master of the universe in the Seven Tribulations realm will see it. The operator behind is extremely mysterious. According to rumors, it was opened by the flame gods. But it has not been recognized. Is still a mystery for the owner of this place. Jian Wushuang didn't pay attention to these, but he had no choice but to treat those unfriendly gazes as if he hadn't seen it. Fortunately, Tonghe Zhenxian sat next to him, and the two of them chatted together. Are mainly some strong people in the chat hall. Of course, both of them are privately transmitted. From Tonghe Zhenxian, Jian Wushuang also has a clear understanding of the current powerhouses in the Stone Kingdom. After knowing that he was going to see the sacred meeting, Tonghe Sword Immortal did not hide it, and said a lot about his position and future opponents. Stand. Jian Wushuang's position is definitely to help the female emperor of the Yu Kingdom become the ancient wood saint. Of course, this is only a superficial partnership, and the biggest benefit is to open Wanliu. Chapter 5777. It's just that I can't say. No one would believe it. He is an emperor, plus a half-step 4 Tribulations realm of the Universe Lord, trying to open Wanliu in vain. This is not a joke. I thought everyone was the original master of Yokoki. Although helping the Empress to win the position of saint, it is just a cover. But taking advantage of this opportunity, Jian Wushuang also wanted to know more about some of the strong men in the holy meeting. It is said that the place where the holy meeting is held is an independent space. Wan Liu is among them. He and Wu Li opened Wanliu. If they were besieged, the first time they found them were the strong men who participated in the holy meeting. Are all masters of the universe. Although the emperor also has it, the role of the emperor in the holy meeting is very small. Is just an auxiliary role. In terms of combat power, they are still the masters of the universe. I learned from Tonghe Zhenxian. There are only 3 strong men in the position of the gladiatorial saints who are going to participate in the holy meeting in Shugua this time. Are the masters of the 5 Tribulations realm universe. After Jian Wushuang heard about it, he was secretly surprised. This is only the master of the female universe. Would be able to gather 5 Tribulations realm, then the 5 Tribulations universe master within the entire Stone Kingdom's power would have at least 2 digits. In the entire Yu country, there is only one female emperor. This gap is more than a huge difference. The strength of the three masters of the universe, two of them are at the pinnacle, and one of them is consummating, are all the best in this battle of saintess qualifications. Belongs to several popular powerhouses who have won the Holy Throne. Although the Empress Fengchen is also among them, but the background is not good. And there are too few helpers. I am afraid that there are not a few masters of the universe who can get it. And the holy meeting will fall. A large number of strong men will fall in every holy meeting. If you win, there will be many benefits. The saint is stationed in the ancient wood school, and she will bring her own confidant to the strong. If Empress Fengchen becomes a candidate, then Jian Wushuang and Wu Li will not only get the resources and treasures in the holy meeting place, can also rub the light of the Empress and become the core of the ancient wood school. There will be more treasures. This is also why there are so many strong men who rush forward and embrace. The benefits of the holy meeting are too many. The glory of ancient wood continent, there is only this fig leaf left. Every year in the holy meeting, there will be some strong people who come to the fore and are recruited by the Jiyu Mu faction. Like the Yunji Kingdom Lord, he and the Empress Fengchen also practiced in the ancient wood school. Although each finally returned to his own power. If it is external, it represents the ancient wood school. Tonghe Zhenxian was also a little envious when talking about the holy meeting. He is not from Gumu continent, he is not qualified to participate. Jian Wushuang, with your strength, I believe you can control some battles. By then, you can't fight too far. Everything is based on your own. The female emperor of your country is not as high as your heart. This sentence Tong Hejin the Immortal said very heavy. Jian Wushuang just nodded without answering. He doesn't know whether the empress is high-spirited, but starting from herself, that's absolutely fine. He wouldn't be foolish to give his life to the empress. Do your best. The most important thing is the chance within Wanliu. The opportunity in the holy meeting, he doesn't like it. Is not very helpful. He actually doesn't lack treasures now, what he lacks is chance inheritance. And some rare treasures. In the past, he was worried that the treasures were not enough. But now, his original promotion is almost complete. There are chess pieces on the Guantian chessboard, which can be swallowed casually. After became the Lord of the Universe, he was able to swallow the chess pieces of the font size. Within a short period of time, he was not short of original treasures. If you don't have enough, you can buy it. Anyway, GUU time and space is dominated by divine power, and the treasures of the origin are very cheap. As for supernatural power, he is even more indispensable. There are Dongjun bones. At first, just feeling the breath can greatly increase the divine power. With the help of power, he swallowed all the aura on the surface, and his divine power reached 400,000. After he became the Lord of the Universe, he swallowed all the bones. Don't say much, before the Seven Tribulations realm, he didn't lack the treasures of increased divine power. The sword blank he lacks now also has eyebrows. Before the holy meeting, it can be done. External things, he is already saturated. The only thing missing is practice time. It has only been more than 10,000 years since it came to GUU time and space. At this point, he didn't have time to practice. If it hadn't been some time ago, the divine power had made a huge breakthrough. His strength has not changed much. Before the holy meeting, he didn't have much time to practice. Even if time accelerates, nothing can be cultivated in that little time. Unconsciously, only a trace of white remained on the crystal ball on the note. Represents the outside world, which is about to dawn. Ku Jian Wushuang still didn't see Lianxing. Just when he thought the other party would not come, a noise came from the outside world. After that, the strong in the hall all silenced. Regardless of whether it is the master of the universe in the Six Tribulations realm, or the powerhouses in the Seven Tribulations realm, they all leaked a respectful look and looked outside the hall. The big shot comes. An old man with a simple dress and a ruddy complexion walked in from outside the hall with a smile on his face. After entering the hall, I didn't forget to say something. Finally caught up. As soon as these words came out, many people who slapped their beards and patted horses quickly said, Senior star refining has come, it is an honor for me to wait. The person who came is the Lianxing. The reason why I came late is actually because of Jian Wushuang. In the past few days, he even went to the daytime and collected all the necessary materials. The rest is in this auction. He was originally qualified to exchange it directly, but it was not necessary. No one dared to him even when he came to the auction. Lianxing walked up to the foremost throne at will, and then settled down. After took a seat, the crystal ball on the note table completely lost its white luster. The auction will also officially begin. But at this moment, another person appeared outside the temple. The smell of the coming person is very weak. Compared with the strong in the temple, is like a baby. Although the breath is weak, the movement caused by entering the hall is not small. Fan Tianfeng. Jian Wushuang's eyes trembled. He thought Fan Tianfeng had already left. I didn't expect to come to the auction here. When everyone saw the first young master of the stone country, their expressions were all moved. The offspring of the strongest 8 tribulations in the ancient wood continent. And the most important offspring. Will become the master of the Flame Kingdom in the future. Fan Tianfeng's identity is much higher than those of the Stone Kings. Otherwise, it won't be that big of face. Just a letter can make Lianxing help Jian Wushuang to refine the sword blank. On the high platform of the main hall, a phantom of a woman in red appeared. When he saw Fan Tianfeng, his brow furrowed. She is also a descendant of the flame god. Compared with Fan Tianfeng, her status is much worse. The descendants of the flame gods, although not many, but the difference is still very big. Chapter 5778. Fan Tianfeng's position in the Flame Kingdom is second only to the flame deity. This status, even the current leader of Shigua, must be treated politely. Fan Tianfeng walked into the hall, glanced around at random, and found a place to sit down. The momentum and attitude are both irresistible. Jian Wushuang looked a little envious. Can't help but sigh with emotion, I wish I had half of her chic. He was a little envious when he thought that the other party would go to the long river of time and space where the Chishan temple was located. Reincarnation is really a skill. Obviously, he was not very successful in this regard. Don't know what happened to the others. Hua Qing was at the Guu ruins, but told him that he must not go. Fan Tianfeng will not say anything. Where are the others? Jian Wushuang took a deep breath. Maybe the others are also lucky. Under the operation of the supreme rules, they may all have a bright future. Wu Zuo's talents are actually not bad. A little bit into some big forces, you can become a Tianjiao. The Lord of the Universe is not difficult. Just can't find it. His current reputation is only spread in Gumu continent, and it does not affect the 9 heavens and 10 places. But it's coming soon, he is about to become famous for Guu. As long as you open Wanliu, you will surely become famous. If the rest of the people are mixed up well, they can also go to seek refuge. He didn't know, the others might not be as good as him. For example, Wu Zuo was trapped in the secret realm of Wu Hua at this time, and also encountered an unprecedented predicament. In this predicament, he also accidentally met a real big man. Dear friends, in Xiafeng Zhouwu, this auction will be hosted by me. The rules are the same as before. You can settle with mixed stones or treasures of the same value. If you encounter a treasure that you must win, you can also click the sky. Lights to bid. Sky lantern. Jian Wushuang was a little confused when he heard it. Fortunately, Tonghe Zhenxian sat next to him. Learned the role of the sky lantern from the opponent. Once the sky lantern is on, is endless price increases. Only if no one makes any more quotes, it will stop. Is equivalent to saying that as long as you light the sky lantern, you don't need to increase the price yourself, just watch others ask for the price, because every time he will be a price higher than others. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang thought to himself that a fool would light the sky lantern. Tonghe Zhenxian said leisurely at this time, when the old man saw it for the first time, he once lit a sky lantern. That treasure was of great use to me, and it was even an opportunity to break through the 7 tribulations realm. For that treasure, I have sold Shigua's life for several epoch. Deal? Jian Wushuang was very surprised. No surprises. At first, I couldn't bring out so many treasures and mixed stones. In the end, it was the power of the stone country as a guarantor. I got the treasure, and then returned the favor and fought for the royal family of the stone country. Times. Tonghe said very simply. But only he knew it, and he almost fell through the battle several times. And the master of the universe, he beheaded one. The Battle of Stone Kingdom is not a battle of Gumu continent. Is the competition for the secret realm of the outer domain. Outer universe secret realms, many, but most of them are occupied by some big forces. There are only some extremely dangerous secret realms that can't be suppressed by even superpowers, and they are unowned. Such as the Wuhua secret realm, and the ancient moon ruins. No one dares to get involved in these secret realms. A super country like the Stone Kingdom has no meaning for civil wars. The ancient wood continent just has such a small amount of resources. The general battle is still an external struggle for the secret realm of the universe. Hearing the rumors about the secret realm, Jian Wushuang's heart moved. He knew a lot about Outland. The so-called Outland is a place beyond 9 days and 10 places. Where is extremely dangerous, there are many natural secrets. The Lord of the Universe will go to explore. There are naturally many opportunities. If it weren't for Wu Li's plan, he would probably also go to Outland, but with Wu Li's plan, opening Wanliu is the best choice. Because the danger in Wanliu is relatively small. The danger of going to Outland is much greater. Even the Lord of the Universe in the Six Tribulations realm is in danger of falling. Wanliu Shenmu is different. The danger is how he faces the strong in the ancient wood continent after he goes out. The inside is not that dangerous. At least there are no competitors. In Outland, some cosmic secret realms, but there are many old monsters. There are also many special lives. He is an emperor, even if his strength is comparable to the Five Tribulations realm, it is extremely dangerous to go. Tonghe Sword Immortal smiled lightly, and then said, when you succeed in the Tao, you will know that the danger of Outland also represents chance. Jian Wushuang nodded in agreement. Behind every crisis is a great opportunity. Just as he is now. Has a great enemy extinction, but also has the opportunity to master the time and space of reincarnation. Even the extinction is extremely longing. From the stars, looking for the Lord of Life. If he can defeat extinction, he can swallow the Lord of Death, palm reincarnation, and grasp time and space. It is possible to transcend the Lord of the Universe. Just like those eternal existence. With confidence, we need that determination. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist. The auction also officially begins at this moment. Feng Zhouwu, with a wave of his hand, a huge jade pillar appeared on the high platform in the main hall. At the top of the pillar, something is floating at this time. Dear friends, this treasure is the heaven-defying supreme treasure in the Wuhua secret realm, the Qingyang divine water. All the masters of the universe know that when the fifth supreme calamity is past, the origin universe will descend on the natural disaster Flame Mountain. With this treasure, this calamity is not called a robbery. After Feng Zhouwu's introduction, many masters of the universe in the Four Tribulations realm looked sideways. The Lord of the Universe crossing the catastrophe is not just his own catastrophe. There is also the robbery of the universe. The original universe will also have a catastrophe. In general, one's own calamity can be foreseen, but he is not sure that he will not cross the calamity at all. But the supreme tribulation in the origin universe is different. Not only does it need to be strong, it also needs the origin of the universe to be strong. The origin of the universe can't be held, no matter how strong the divine power is. GUU time and space divine power practitioners, most of their origins are not strong. So for them, their own calamity is not difficult. The highest calamity of the universe is the problem. This made Jian Wushuang think of Qishan. Qishan crosses the catastrophe failed, but the original universe is still there. Later evolved into Qi Shrine. The Qishan who cultivated the origin has fallen under his own calamity, and the origin universe has not been destroyed. Could have been specialized in becoming Sanjia, but it was necessary to give up the original universe. For the origin of the universe, Chishan would rather own the universe. Is also the number one ruthless person. May be the reason, I am afraid that is not the case. Jian Wushuang himself is different. The amount of calamity of oneself corresponds to the strength of divine power. His divine power is now faster than the original source. The supreme calamity in the original universe, although strong, is also strong, but Ji Dao evolved into a starry sky. The first universe is about to light up. Chapter 57-79. Once the universe is successfully condensed, it will be a perfect universe of 10,000 black holes, with the origin of the starry sky. The supreme tribulation, for Jian Wushuang, is not so terrible. Takes care of both. Jian Wushuang is the catastrophe of these heavens and worlds, otherwise, he would not be so confident. The first 5 calamities are as simple as drinking water for him. The difficulty is after the 6 tribulations realm. But there is always a way. No, now there is a treasure that can break through the Lord of the 5 tribulations realm. In the future, there will be treasures of the 6 tribulations realm. Of course, although treasures have a great effect, you can't ignore themselves. Can't underestimate the supreme rule. Everything is changed. The first auction item is a heaven-defying treasure for the Lord of the 4 tribulations realm. For a time, many strong players made bids. Among them are the powerhouses of the 7 tribulations realm. If you don't use it yourself, you can also give it to younger generations. This kind of treasure is not much. Wuhua secret realm, ordinary people can't enter. I rarely get out when I go in. This Qingyang divine water is still in the inner circle of Wuhua secret realm. Without the strength of the master of the 6 tribulations realm, it would be impossible to get it. Some people may never encounter such a treasure in their lifetime. Naturally, I cherish it very much. There are no low prices for the treasures auctioned here. As long as the price is offered, it is probably the corresponding price of the treasure. But the scarcity of treasures can't be held up. Tonghe Zhenxian, who was sitting next to Jian Wushuang, also called out the price at this time. 10,000 mixed stones. The last price was 7,000, and Tonghe Zhenxian directly added 3,000 mixed stones. Many masters of the universe in the 4 tribulations realm fell into despair. As for the Lord of the universe in the 3 tribulations realm, he may not be worth 5,000 yuan stone. Although it is an era, the original universe guarantee can also breed a mixed stone. But who would hold the treasure and not use it? Buying treasures, secrets, and even maintaining one's original universe, can't do without the Hunyuan stone. Ordinary Lord of the universe, it is already very good to be able to take out 5,000 mixed stones on his body. It takes 5,000 eras to condense. The Lord of the universe in the 4 tribulations realm also needs 500 eras. Is still a relatively long time. Seeing Tonghe Zhenxian's offer, Jian Wushuang asked curiously, "Senior, is this for the girl Minga?" "Haha, that little girl still has Fanshan. When he has enough, this treasure should be used." Tonghe said with a smile. Think about it, too. Li Minga is Tonghe Zhenxian's only family member. The day when the heart is gone, it may be the time when the other party embarks on the path of cultivation. Tonghe Zhenxian naturally has to prepare in advance. 6 Tribulation Realm Universe, here is also a top character. But those crazy 4 Tribulation Realm Universe Masters have already begun to become sellers. I have 9,000 mixed stones, plus a cosmic treasure of the 5 Tribulations Realm. A cosmic master of the 4 Tribulations Realm sitting at the back made a loud bid. If you have the first one to sell treasures, you have the second. The value of the treasure of the universe is actually not too high. The most valuable thing is the original treasure that I nurtured. A treasure of the 5 Tribulations Realm universe, worth 3,000 mixed stones is not bad. The subsequent asking price has been rising. Tonghe Zhenxian also made several consecutive prices. In the end, he still didn't win. Was auctioned off by a crazy 4 Tribulations universe master. Which Cosmos master is at the pinnacle of the 4 Tribulation realm, and the time to cross the tribulation is less than 100 eras. During this period of time, I have been looking for the treasures of the robbery. Was also lucky, and met Qingyang Shinshui here. Almost took out all of his worth, and spent 90,000 mixed stones to win this Qingyang divine water. Just took the photo and left the scene in a hurry. Is not because I am afraid that others will stare at me, but because I am anxious to prepare for the catastrophe. Seeing the auction here, I walked through different channels. Jian Wushuang came in the alley, but the others came from all over the city. As long as the route appears different, the breath is hidden in the city, and no one can find yourself at all. This is also the reason why some people dare to spend all their worth. The first treasure is a lottery. The value is generally very high. The treasures to be auctioned next, although they are also very precious, are not as guarded as the first treasure, so the price is controlled by a few thousand. Jian Wushuang didn't even have thousands of mixed stones. He can only watch. The ninth auction item, a space crystallization. This material is the superb material for refining the supreme slab. Many of the people who have seen the auction are all casters, and at this time they have made bids. Cast gods, each of them is worth several times higher than their peers. Naturally, few laymen dared to compete. Only one side of the space crystallized, and the high price of 10,000 mixed stones was sold. Jian Wushuang's eyes are hot. This spatial crystal is condensed from the celestial bodies in the universe, which is very rare. Is the crystallization of everything, and it is also the hardest material in the universe. The value of one party is 10,000 mixed stones. Jian Wushuang carefully searched for the treasures of the Chen family. He, who had never been able to see through, also inspected it in the Stone Country workshop. It was a treasured treasure, but not too expensive. Moreover, the Chen family is a master of the universe, and the reserve of Hunyuan stone is almost useless. Is not enough for the master of the universe, for his own use. So he did not find a mixed stone. Next time, to do this kind of thing again, you need to take action against the masters of the universe. Sanjie, too poor. Every sabotage, before becoming sabotage, must have smashed all the treasures on the original universe. In the end, the sabotage failed, and naturally there was nothing. Are all poor ghosts. Except for the casting god. Looking at those treasures, Jian Wushuang's eyes are hot and it's no use. If no one bids again, then this space will crystallize. Before Feng Zhouwu could finish her words, she was interrupted by an old voice. Is star-making the strongest casting in the ancient wood continent? Lianxing slowly raised 2 fingers, and said, I'll pay 20,000 yuan. As soon as these words came out, Yukanshu Com was quiet. No one dares to bid any more. Even if it was a strong person in the 7 tribulations realm, he shrank. As for the casting gods, almost everyone knows Lianxing, and it is even more important that Lianxing is the #1 casting in ancient wood continent. The ancestor of everyone. Who would go to grab materials from Lianxing? In fact, you can make a star at the beginning, and you can bid a price for a mixed stone, and no one will dare to follow it. Background, combat power, financial resources. Is completely crushing others. Who dares to fight? The strong of the 8 tribulations realm came, and they might not be able to compete. The wealth of refining stars is not comparable to that of ordinary people. One person can be comparable to a superpower. The light are those puppets that Jian Wushuang encountered. The value is so great that none of them can be grasped by a powerhouse in the 7 tribulations realm. Feng Zhouwu, who presided over the auction, saw the quotation from the refining star, but his expression was very relaxed, and he immediately started the final bid. After 3 beeps, no one answered. The space crystallized and fell into the hands of Lianxing. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,